Hello and welcome back to What Heather Did. Today I am participating in the Unique Antique Hope Challenge. Wait! Okay, so if you saw that video for the Hope Challenge, which if you missed that, the playlist should be up there. And congratulations to Junk Princess Furniture Designs. My dogs are behind me. For her win with her beautiful piece. You'll know that I actually had to change the piece I was going to do in that challenge, and because the piece I was going to do wasn't done. But now it's done, and I'm going to share it. So, without further ado, here is my roadside trash. But it's a chair and not a drawer front, but still roadside trash that I upcycled. Let's go. Alright, so here is my chair, and I may have used that seat cushion for blending paint at one point or wiping off my brush. I don't really remember. It's dirty. It's been in my garage. I literally found this on the side of the road in the mud while it was raining. There are some holes in different places, but it looks like somebody stabbed it in a lot of places. It's weird. There's some flaking paint, some damage on the corner. There's more damage on the back. I don't know if it like hit the road, and I don't know, but it's structurally it's okay, but it's got some chipping paint and stuff. And the seat looks sad and dirty. It's okay. I'm getting rid of that. So the first step was, the cobwebs. It needs to be cleaned. Not to clean it, but to remove the seat. So I'm just taking off the screws to remove the seat. Which is really easy to do. They're just screwed on there. It's not even screwed on all that well. And then I just kind of banged on it and most of the screws came out. One of the screws wouldn't come out, so it's just in there. It's part of the whole thing now. And we're getting rid of the seat. Ta-da! And then of course I need to clean it. So this is just TSP maybe? I don't know. Soapy water? Something in the water to make it bubble. And then I just have a rag and I'm going to wipe it down and scrub it real good. And then I'll rinse it and let it dry. And there was quite a bit of mud on it. I was like, did I not clean it better? I don't know. So to sand, I just went over the whole thing with 120. There was some flaking paint in some places, so I gave those a little bit of extra scrubby. But 120, I might have done a higher grit. I don't really remember. And just make sure everything's scuffed up so that my paint will adhere. And there weren't any other repairs that really needed to be made. So I was pretty surprised for it being on the side of the road. Alright, so these are from the silver and gold desk that I redid. This is the feet that I took off. And I wanted to make some shelves, and I was like, I need some shelf supports. And I'm trying to do this all with scrap wood. I didn't want to buy anything new. It was a piece of junk I found on the side of the road. Like, let's use a bunch of scrap to upcycle this. So I'm just taking the legs apart so that I can use them, make a little shelf piece. They're gonna be perfect, and they're almost the perfect height. And I got to smash it with a hammer. And then I cut that end piece off to make it not there. There's still like a little curved piece on the end, but that's okay. And I do have a little stop block set up to make sure I got the same cut every time. I thought about cutting that little curved part off and then changed my mind. I was like, no, it's not worth it. Okay, so these boards are from the cabinet that I made for my stepmom, and I'm just kind of trying to lay out how I might want this. I have a general idea. I'm trying to decide what do I want to do. Which the best idea is to just set things up when they're unstable in the wind. That's how you should always plan stuff out. So the idea is that this upper shelf will sit right there. And it is going to be smaller, so it's not too top heavy. Now, for my bottom shelf, I didn't have any pieces that were wide enough. And I wanted a bottom shelf. So I decided to make a piece. Also, notice my boards aren't flat. That's just how that went. So I'm going to make a shelf out of these 3 boards and put some pocket screws in those, and then pocket holes. Put some pocket holes in the boards, and then hold them together with pocket screws. And I'm just marking where I want the screws to go. I will tell you, I didn't put enough in one of the boards, so I had to fix it later. I had to use some glue and clamps to fix it later, and it really wasn't all that great, but it worked fine. And you can see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I really could have used another screw. And what I'm going to do, once I get all of the boards fit together the way I want, then I'll cut it to the length I want, instead of cutting it and then trying to match them up. Stick them together, and then I can cut it to the length I want. And that makes it easier. So, add your mustard. Make sure to get enough mustard and spread it out real good. And because I wanted to make it look a little bit fancier, I decided to use the router to put an edge on it. Or route the edge onto it. But I decided to test it first to make sure it looked like what I wanted. Because, you know, you should test first. So, got it started and battery immediately died. That's how the test went. I did finish testing to get all my settings the way I wanted, and then I'm just going to go around the edge of all of the boards. Also, notice I have plenty of sunscreen on. I may have overdone the sunscreen. After I get the edge on all of my boards, I'm using this texture paint. It was a mist tint. I used it for doing a textured vase. I've used it on a couple other things. But I'm going to do it for a tan wash on these boards, because the texture won't matter, because I'll just give it a light sand and the texture will go away. So that's not a big deal. So just wet your piece really well. This is a great way to give it a wash look instead of a full coverage, instead of watering down your paint. Thanks, Crystal from the Crafty Creech. And you just water it down, and it makes your little wash that way. Just went through, wiping back, adding, wetting, make sure it's really wet and it stays wet. That makes it easier to wipe back. And I did this just so it'll, cause you know how pine gets that very yellowish look? Sometimes a little bit orange, so this will help. Also, if you notice, that board was primed. So I also did a lot of sanding, which I did not record, but I did 80 on this piece to get the prime off, but 120 and then 220 before I decided to do the tan wash. And then after I did the tan wash, once it dried, I did a gentle coat, gentle sand with 220. It didn't really raise the grain too much, but this gets that, if it did raise the grain at all, this also helps knock that down, but also get some of that grit because I use textured paint. Just smooths it out. And to seal it, I'm actually just going to go over it with some easy peasy shellac. Just a couple coats of spray shellac. I like the way it looks. It'll give good protection. I actually did shellac over the chair too before I painted. And then after I paint, I seal everything with shellac. I like spray lacquer too, but for this project I was out of lacquer and I had plenty of shellac, so that's what I went with. So, trying to decide what to paint this, and I actually bought a really pretty green in a new paint I haven't used yet, but I decided it was too dark. So painting with this. This is the color I wanted, and the other color was just dark. But I have actually a lot of these because I'm that person who apparently I'm like, oh, I like this color, I should get it, and then it turns out I've just gotten that same color over and over again. So I don't even know how long I've had this, but I have several bottles of this. So yeah, I'm just painting. Hi, puppy. Apparently all you get to see is his butt as he walks away. So, let's get to painting.
Get out of here. There's nothing more to see here. You understand?
I'm getting good coverage. You can see, right, it's 2 coats, so you can see 1 coat, 2 coats. Really good coverage. Not my original plan, but I'm liking it. And it's got good adhesion. It hadn't been on that long, but it's got good adhesion. Although I will point out my nails aren't very strong. They're very flexible. Anyway, so what I've been doing, and to kind of help me keep track of, like, because once it's all painted, I tend to get, you can tell that this is only 1 coat and this is 2, but I tend to get, I'll just kind of forget to do things. So I have a method. So as I'm painting, I'll go through and I'll do, after I've done my, actually this is what I do anyway. I do all of my horizontal surfaces. I'll do the underside on some of them, but not all of them. Like this underside, but not all the way down here. And so I do all my horizontal surfaces all the way around for my second coat. And then I'll start on my vertical surfaces. So it kind of helps me keep track of my surfaces. Also, funny story about my color, the mint julep green, which I absolutely love this color. So years ago, this was when I had actually just started dating, well, now my ex, but my ex that I was with when I had kids. So I did a, like, it's a birthday present, I think. Anyway, I did like a thrift flip, and I took something and I painted it and did some fun stuff with it. And one of the colors I used was this mint julep green. Absolutely loved it. Then, a couple years later, we found this, like, I don't even know that it was a couple years later. It was probably just a couple months. It was a big mirror, and it was just, I don't know, it wasn't huge, but it was like this mirror, and it had, around the mirror, it had that, like, plastic wicker stuff that was so popular. And it had 2 little drawers. So I was like, oh my gosh, we should do something with this. And she did mosaic. She was like, yeah, absolutely. I can do mosaic over the wicker. And I was like, yes, and I'll paint the rest of it. So I went to the store to look for paint. And guess what color I picked out? So, oh my gosh, I thought I left some on my forehead. So it was actually, it came out really pretty. I'll see if I can find a picture. But you had I painted the whole thing green, and then she did this white glass over the wicker, and it was really cool because you could see, like, kind of see the green behind it. It was just really, really pretty. Also really heavy. It was so much, it was beautiful. And I love this color. So, there was, I can't remember, I think there were pots. They were like terracotta clay pots that we were going to paint and decorate with. And guess what color I bought? At one point, we were like 3 or 4 bottles of this. And she was like, you really need to start checking before buying paint, which I was like, but I don't think I need to do that. I still don't do that very well. But yeah, mint julep green. I love this color. And I feel like it's going to be the perfect color for this. So, as I was finishing up the chair, I realized I was running really low on the mint julep green. And I was like, well, before I start anything else, I'm going to stop and then I'll go get more. They discontinued that color. So, hi, hippie. They don't have it anymore. Which, I feel like this is going to be a happy little accident. Because these boards, which are going to be the ones that hold the shelf, the top shelf, I was like, I just don't know that I want to do them green as well. So I was like, what could I do instead? So I feel like this is a happy accident. Because I got to get my hand out of the way. Instead, now, I'm going to do a light blue color. Because I was like, light blue, light green. I feel like this blue will go well. I don't know how long I've had this. I think I should probably use up some of the colors I've had a while. I think it's still good. It sounds like we'll find out. If not, I have plenty of other light blues. I do not have a shortage of blue. So hi, hippie. Okay, let's get to painting. Bye, hippie. Okay, so I am not really a hand painter, but I really want to be a painter, so I've been practicing. I've been watching lots of tutorials, and I've been practicing. And some of this I hated and I cover up, but I was so excited because this is like the first piece where I'm actually hand painting something, and I'm so excited about it. I'll even share the tutorial I watched. Actually, I'll watch lots of tutorials. I'm going to share the one whose techniques I'm copying up above. Like I said, lots of tutorials, watched lots of practicing, but this is the one that I found most helpful. So, also, if you are liking this content, please be sure to hit that like button and maybe consider subscribing, doing all the things. Also, if you have any tips on hand painting, like this would have been better if I laid the chair down flat. I understand that. But I'm still super excited. So these are the first. I'm definitely struggling here. I get better though. And then I decided to add some grass. Can you guess what? These are going to be flowers, but can you guess what kind of flowers they're going to be? And I will be honest, I didn't do these like as they actually grow, because I'm still learning. But I feel like I do pretty good. But can you guess what they're going to be? See, this is a great shot where you can tell exactly what I'm doing. Okay, do you get it? Do you see it yet? These are some of my favorites to see growing. There's a house around the corner that has lots and lots of bluebonnets that just grow like crazy. And fun fact, they have these seeds that this seed pod, as it, I guess, matures and when it dries out, it like will pop and it flings the seeds everywhere. It is the most fun thing ever. Not that I've ever just flicked a seed pod to watch it explode and fling seeds everywhere. But I love bluebonnets. They're so pretty. And they're really hardy. They grow in the cracks of sidewalks. They grow everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but they do grow well. They're really hardy. Okay. What's your favorite flower? Like your favorite wildflower, right? Okay. So to attach, this shelf was the easiest to put on because I just used some little brackets. And I centered it-ish. I didn't worry about being absolutely perfect, but I did try to get it centered. Also notice, the board's not entirely flat. Although it may be the chair that's not entirely flat. Who knows? And I'm gonna use, I gotta center it. I'm gonna use these little brackets to attach it. They just go like that. And I had originally thought about doing more with the shelf, with the chair itself, but I liked the bluebonnets. That's all I did. And then I just used this little punch tool so I could pre-drill a little bit, because I don't want any wood splitting. Now would be a terrible time. And then I just used some screws to attach that. And then after I got it all centered, I'll recenter it again. I barely drilled. I was really worried I'd go all the way through. Okay, so the bottom two shelves were just attached to the chair frame with brackets, but the upper shelf needed these for supports. And I couldn't decide how. I thought about dowels. There really wasn't enough space in the back to put them, so I went with pocket screws, which I decided to drill the pocket holes after everything was painted, so I had to be really careful in protecting all my painting. So you can see here, I marked out where they're gonna go, making sure I'm attaching them in the right direction, add my glue, and then after I get that all attached, I realize that they won't work right there because they're literally in the exact same spot as the chair back. So I have to take them off and move them over. It's great fun. And as a side note, do not forget to protect the rest of your piece from the drill when you're screwing the pocket screws, and it's fine. I fixed it. Would have been easier if I'd remembered. But we're coming up on the end. I'm almost done. Finally. Are you ready to see it? Let's go. as always, thanks for watching and stay tuned to find out what Heather does next time. Get it in the camera. Funny. That's actually two different colors.